I'm joined now by Jeff, Melanie, Ryan, and Christian, the four musicians who make up Attaboy. Thanks for being here, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
We've already been having fun. Okay, let's see. How do you guys describe your style?
It's a good question. We do often ask people to listen to our music and then describe it for
Yes.
us. And part of that
What
is
our
because,
genre?
Yeah, exactly. Help us out. Part of that is because we have so many different influences individually coming into it, and such an eclectic taste of music as individuals and a collective that we draw from like so many different influences. But a typical term that we use is fun indie pop. Is kind of, if we had to put it on paper, what we would describe it as.
Tell me about a typical writing session. Like, what does that look like, sound like? How long does it typically take?
Yeah,
Or is it different every time?
It's different every time. So a lot of times we will individually write the musical portion. So we'll come up with demo ideas. A lot of times we'll have reference songs that it's like, oh, hey, we want to have a song that sounds like whatever song.
Sure.
And so we take some inspiration from that, and then we write just like a demo idea of like, oh, here's like the hook, here's a verse, chorus, whatever. And then we kind of decide together like, oh, we really like, we like Jeff's idea, so let's go with that. And then we all sit down together and we just have all of our laptops, we have Google Docs, and we have a shared document, and we just all sit down and it's like, okay, what do we want to write about? What's an idea? What's a story? And then we just start like typing, and we can see each other in real time typing, and it's like, ooh, like Ryan, I really like that line, so let's run with that and see where we go from there.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
But also, like, is it as challenging as it sounds?
Yes. So, I mean, I would say like before I was in this band, I was doing music on my own, and my process personally was absolutely the opposite of what we're talking about.
Okay.
So when I joined the band, it was truly a personal challenge that led to some frustration. Like, well, this is how I've always written before. This is absolutely foreign to me. And jumping in now, years into the band, I'm like, I've started to understand, oh, I see the value in this. And now it's a little more fun. But the challenge, I mean, I've said before that when we sit down to write a song, especially lyrics and melody, it's basically a planned argument session where we are planning to argue with each other to produce the best thing. And over the years, that's gotten to the point where it's like, okay, like this argument, we all know leads to the best product.
Yes.
And the most creativity by drawing it out of each other. And it's something that I've really had to grow into because it is not my bent when it comes to that.
Well, I was going to say, so 9 years in, clearly something is working and you guys get along, but do you have those moments and you two are married. So do you have those times when it's like, okay, you know what, maybe we're not going to write today because we're not all jiving? Or do you know that, you're going to put your nose to the grindstone and do it?
I mean, honestly, it's more the latter because any type of, creativity or, the inspiration might not just magically be there when you need it to be. And so we've tried to have an approach where it's more of a discipline, where we're literally putting days on the calendar far in advance, where we are writing this day, regardless of if we feel creative or not, just because to try to counteract what might be a lack of inspiration. Well, you just got to power through it and make it happen anyways.
I imagine that it is easier having 3 other people to sort of help draw that out. Is that true? Or does it make it like, just don't bug me, I don't want to?
I think it is easier because, let's say one of us is maybe that day not feeling as creative or something like that. It's like, well, somebody else might not be feeling that way. So they might kind of take the ball and run with it or lead that charge, and then it kind of inspires you. I mean, this happened last time we were writing. I was, my head was admittedly kind of somewhere else, and then they started putting ideas down on the page, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, okay, what if we do this? And it kind of got the ball rolling for me. So it's really cool to be able to like inspire each other internally, even depending on, what one of us or all of us is feeling at the moment.
Were you guys all musicians like from the get, or did you have different creative outlets? Melanie, let's start with you.
Yeah, so I've been playing music pretty much my whole life. I started like piano when I was like 6, I think. Started singing lessons, guitar lessons. So that's always been a part of my life. But I also have always had other outlets, theater and dancing, and even just like painting, drawing, all that kind of stuff. So I've always known that like some sort of performance or like artistic aspect would be a part of my life.
Yeah. Ryan, what about you?
Yeah, so I've been singing, I mean, since before I can remember. I remember having my first solo in a school play when I was in kindergarten. I played a disobedient frog that got eaten by an alligator, which is traumatic, but I kept singing in spite of that. And picked up some other instruments along the way. I always thought that music would be, I mean, obviously part of my life. At different points, I was like, oh, maybe it'll be a career thing, and then, but I was also thinking of other things too. Yeah. Didn't actually know that I would end up being full time in a band doing this kind of work at this point, but it's been a blast, and I'm really glad I'm here. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff, what about you?
Yeah, similarly, started playing piano when I was in kindergarten, middle school band, taught myself guitar in high school. And yeah, that was probably the primary creative thing for me. But I also love performing, even if it didn't involve music, so kind of the combination of those two things definitely paved the way to do what we do for me.
Christian?
Yeah, for me, I went to my first concert when I was 6 years old, and I distinctly remember seeing the bands on stage and saying, that's what I want to do with my life. So I've known from a very early age that I wanted to tour and perform and do music full time. So I started playing guitar when I was 7. Then picked up as many other instruments as I could, just teaching myself, and started my first band when I was in middle school and hit the road right out of high school and been doing it ever since.
Nice. How do you guys feel that you have grown as artists, especially as sort of a collaborative unit, but also individually?
I'd say for me, the most stark example of that is when I joined this band. I had played in bands previously, and I always had to have what I called my security blanket, where I had to have a guitar or a keyboard in front of me. If I didn't, I was the most awkward. I don't know what to do. Like, I can't just sing. I've got to have these things.
Right.
And once I joined Attaboy, we were doing some shows, and we got to certain points like, you should probably not be playing something right here and do something like. All right, here we go. And I say that to say, I mean, if you look at video from 9 years ago, it is 100% different. Yeah. To the point now where I'm like, I don't want to play. Yeah. Like, I want to just get out there and have fun, and that's going to hinder me.
Yeah.
And so that has been a really fun growth process for me by learning from other front people and getting, having lessons, YouTube videos from people that talk about, being a front person. What do you do with a microphone? That kind of stuff. And that's all helped me develop that. And I think that's probably one of the biggest, most obvious examples for myself. Yeah.
Tell me about touring. Because we have in our mind the big tricked out RV and that type of thing, which is not how most bands tour. So how do you guys do it, and how are you still all friends? How are you two still married? How does that work?
Yeah.
Well, our touring is, I would say, pretty non-traditional, is one of the ways we've described it. One of the things we do as a band that I think is really different from almost every other band is we have been positively influenced by artists in our lives, and we have found one way to kind of pay that forward is by creating a school assembly program that we take into public schools, like high schools and middle schools. And we do music that we've written. We talk about some of the inspiration, the stories behind those songs in ways that would encourage students to persevere, or we talk about mental health, we talk about treating people with respect, and we use our music to hopefully emphasize those points. And so that's one of the places we do touring. A lot of our school year touring takes place in schools, so our schedule is more based on a weekday system.
Nice.
And often we'll go out for some weekdays and be back home and then go back out. So rather than a 6-week straight up tour, 6 nights in a row with 1 day off, that kind of an idea, ours is more like, well, we're out for 3 days, we come back for a week, we go out for a week, we come back. And so we get to be home a lot more often while doing the same number of touring gigs. So that's how our schedule has panned out. Now, when we do those school assemblies, we also have our normal concert, one that you might go to a music venue. We have full lighting production that we do, all that stuff. We'll perform those in the same town. and invite people to come see that show.
Yes.
And so sometimes we're doing 2 or 3 shows in one day, and move in. We're full-time roadies that happen to play music a little bit.
Yeah.
So we do that a lot, and we finally 9 to 10 years in are in a nicer RV, which is an absolute game changer. But we did a lot of years in a van first.
Sure.
And now we're finally an RV, which means that we have beds. Which is real nice. So better than a van bench.
Yes,
So,
yes,
yeah.
for sure. So what's next? What do you guys hope to achieve, or are you kind of happy in this sweet spot?
I mean, it is really cool to be in a spot where, what we do is sustainable. Even you asking about like, how are we still the 4 of us in it 9 years later and everything. It's just really been awesome to kind of just put our relationship as people first, and that is kind of what has like led to, I think, kind of the success we've had. Is like we genuinely like look out for each other and each other's families. And I mean, we've all been in bands and stuff before where you don't have that relational rapport, and it's really tough. And so I think we just kind of committed early on to like, let's just make sure we're all healthy as people and as friends and as a couple and all that.
Yeah.
And good things have stemmed from that. So we're really grateful to be in that space, and we're just working on a lot of new music right now, so that's really exciting. So I've been continuing to release stuff and get more into doing like music videos and other creative things like that.
Yes, and trampolines are involved
Yes.
occasionally.
We've had a lot of fun with music videos so far.
Cool.
Yeah. Something we love as a band is fun and maybe like going over the top all the time. And so that's found its way into the music video world now.
Yes, and it comes through. It's so, and you want to keep consuming it because it is so fun.
Yeah.
What is your favorite part of being the 4 that make up Attaboy?
Oh man.
Ooh,
That's a great question. That's a great question.
The being on a team where everyone has their strengths and everyone has their weaknesses, and we all kind of get to pick up slack and relieve slack in different ways for each other, like as a team, has been really awesome. And when that gets when you have people that are drawing that out of you, it's something that can feel uncomfortable at certain moments, but it's also in the long run the thing that's making us better and better. And so that's, I mean, I haven't often thought of it in those stark terms, but like that is a real gift of being in a band that has a team that works like this.
Yeah, I mean, it really does feel like a family. I mean, obviously, Melanie and I are married, but yeah, I think it just really does feel like a family, and that really helps with everything from inspiration to, keeping it going and sustainability and all that good stuff.
Fantastic. You guys are so much fun. Your music is so great, and I love that you don't want to pinpoint exactly what your sound is, because that means it can continue to be fun and organic, and that makes it fun to listen to. So please keep doing what you're doing. Thank you guys so much for all of the music you create and for all of the good you do in schools as well, because we need that, obviously. And thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for
Thanks
having
for
us.
having us.
Thank you.
Arts in Focus on PBS Fort Wayne is funded in part by the Community Foundation of Greater Fort Wayne,